All right, welcome back to our special coverage here in Vatican City. Ed Henry and Bianca de la Garza. President Trump has just posted on Truth Social that he's hopeful about a potential peace deal, but he's more ripping the New York Times, saying no matter whatever deal he makes, he must be posting this from Air Force One. They will never be satisfied. I mentioned that, a little bit of new information that he's weighing in on this remarkable meeting that happened, as you see right there, knee to knee with President Zelensky of Ukraine, literally, as they restarted talks, perhaps, after that rough Oval Office meeting a few weeks ago. It's interesting, Bianca, that they appeared to be trying to at least move things forward, perhaps in memory, in honor of Pope Francis.
President Trump there also had posted on Truth Social when he landed in Rome saying that they just need to finish the deal. So there's another post on Truth Social. Then there's this, what will be sort of an indelible image we will always remember from Pope Francis's funeral. Let's bring in our guests now to talk about this and also what we saw today in the streets here as the Pope Mobile brought the mortal remains to the final resting place for Pope Francis. Please have back with us Matthew Bunson, the Vice President, Editorial Director for EWTN News. And also joining us, John Yep. He is the CEO of and President of Catholics for Catholics. John, the last time I saw you, in fact, you had a beautiful event at Mar-a-Lago praying for President Trump. So pick up on the news of the day where President Trump talking peace, sitting face-to-face with Zelensky, not in an Oval Office, no cameras around, and the backdrop there, the Basilica.
I'm glad you made it to Rome finally, Bianca. It's great to see you over there. I think that the significance of Trump and Zelensky meeting right there in St. Peter's Basilica is just so symbolic of what the Catholic Church tries to do at the end of the day, is bring people together. And if it took the death of a pontiff to do that, for them to meet there in that church, in that sacred space, it's a beautiful thing just to witness and to take in the history there. Also, the legacy of Pope Francis is so important to talk about. I know people are reticent at times to talk about the good, the bad of the Francis pontificate, but it's also important not only to pray for his soul, but also to look forward to this conclave and choose the man we need to correct or change things that were caused during this Francis pontificate.
Yeah, good point. And Matthew, it's interesting, the president posting and criticizing the New York Times, something he does frequently, but he has a point, right, which is that he could get a peace deal here, and the left will still say, well, it's not good enough. Here's a president that they claimed would be a warmonger, but instead is all about trying to bring peace around the world, not just here, but in Israel and Gaza.
Well, that's right. I mean, clearly, the president wants the art of the deal, which is something that he promised from the start of this. He's obviously also focused on trying to resolve the situation in Gaza, Israel, and the situation with Hamas. But this, I think, for him was one of those opportunities, and as an astute business person, he seized on it. I think there was probably some discussion ahead of time about the possibility of a meeting after the funeral. It was noted that even for the papal funeral that President Zelensky was still not wearing a tie.
Yes.
I'm sure that the president teased him about it. But it's an indicator, too, that Zelensky is very consistent, at least in his positions, which Trump may find helpful in this regard, in that as he tries to bring him into a deal, he knows where he stands. The question now is where and how far Putin's willing to go.
That's right.
I just want to be clear, too, in some of the video that we've been sharing, President of France, Macron, was also there as this meeting was sort of, the chairs were being placed. So it wasn't just President Trump. There's an effort to try to get peace. And, the way, of course, President Trump will catch the flack for it. But I'm sure if there were other people who could have taken this meeting, indeed they would. It's important and it's vital. And we want to see people stop dying.
Well, I think as we've seen, too, with some of the positioning astutely of Giorgia Meloni, the Prime Minister of Italy, this has to be a multilateral solution to the Ukraine problem. The EU has to step up. That's something that Trump has been saying, and that's certainly something that Pope Francis was making as a priority of his pontificate as well.
Thank you, Matthew.
Matthew, thank you. John Yep, a pleasure to have you via remote as well for your thoughtful comments. And we thank all of you for being part of our special coverage all week long. It's been such a beautiful
It's been a week to remember with you, and I think...